Hey guys, so it is the Nerdy Unicorn here. Some of you know me as Emily, and I'm here to talk to you guys about mental health because apparently that's a big deal in today's day and age. I don't know about you. I don't know what your pandemic experience has been like. I can tell you it's been eye-opening for me personally. It hit really hard today, actually. For the first time in a long time, I cried, not because somebody died, but because I just couldn't handle it anymore. And it's not like me at all. I'm not the type to cry. I compartmentalize, I shut down. I like to throw all of my emotions out the window because they're useless, usually, to me. Unless it's joy of something, it's a useless emotion. But today I just couldn't. I couldn't hold back anymore. I couldn't not cry. So I did. Woke my husband up crying on his shoulder. So that's how I got started. My mom sent me a video recently. It was by another vlogger that occasionally I like to watch because she's very passionate about what she does. She loves to talk about budgeting and saving up money. Her blog, I should say, is called Lining Up Ducks. And I encourage you to go look it up. If nothing else, she's got some fun stuff on there you might enjoy. Anyways, my mom sent me one of her recent videos, and it was about mental health. Personally, I don't like talking about mental health. To me, I don't know how, honestly. I don't know how to explain how I'm feeling and how to relate to other people, which is something I've learned in the past year and a half. I don't say the things that people expect to hear. And for some people, that is disturbing. For some people, it's hurtful. I actually had someone that I thought I was closer to than I actually was tell me that I was without empathy, without compassion, and that I had no love in my heart. And even though I don't believe a word she says, and even though I know she said it out of anger, or even out of, I don't know, I guess, misguided beliefs on her part, it still cut pretty deep. It cut enough that whenever I hit my low point and was crying, her words rang through my head. And so here I am. I'm now dealing with, I guess, trying to figure out where I stand on all this. I'm going to say this right now. I don't tell you or anybody else how I'm feeling for the majority of the time. I'm an introvert. I do not go out of my way to make friends. I do not go out of my way to talk to strangers. I don't like to do it. It's very uncomfortable to me. I like going outside, and if I see you more than once, let's say 2 or 3 times, and it's in an environment that I am used to, like church, if you walk up and talk to me, I will talk to you like you're my best friend. I might be a little startled at first, but then I will figure it out and I will snap into that mindset of, let's be friends, because that's who I am. That's how I've always been. It takes me a little bit, but then I can fall right into it. And I've been told that even though I consider myself a nerd, that's actually what's known as being a geek. You can be a nerd and be smart and intelligent in various ways, be a gamer or whatever. But if you have the ability to socialize with others, you are actually a geek. That's what I've been told. So I guess I'm a nerd, I'm a geek, I'm whatever, but ultimately I'm very much an introvert. So if I start talking to you, then I've gotten out of my little bubble for a little bit. And unfortunately, what that means for me is that I've also put my trust in you And my hope is that you won't turn around and stab me in the back or say something to me that's going to devastate me later. Now, over this past year and a half, I will say I've noticed changes in people that I thought we were really close to. My family we finally started getting back together. But half of them have moved to Florida, and the other half is fixing to move to Florida. They are preparing to move. And so it's kind of one of those things where they aren't close to me, physically speaking, but I can at least talk to them on some level. My husband's family is an entirely different thing. They are severe introverts. And when the pandemic event of 2020 hit, they retreated into their shells. Perfectly understandable. Some of them are older, and so yes, there is the fear of getting sick, possibly to the point of dying. Completely understandable. But on the same token, it's like their family fell apart. And I don't know how to handle that because I had opened up to the point where I felt like I could socialize with these people. And now I'm starting to see maybe I can't. Maybe I'm not meant to. And it's hard. It's very hard because I'm used to being a part of a family where you talk things out and you move through it. They don't talk things out. They like to hide, and they hide behind smiles. And it's hard to know how they're feeling. It's hard to understand where they're coming from. So they've said things, some of them have, that they didn't mean in a bad way, but it stuck with me. And so when I hit my low place, their words kept swirling around in my head. It's like, how do you get out of that? How do you work through that? Anyways, I'm probably rambling. But I will say that their words hit and swirled through me all this morning to the point that I wanted to shut down emotionally. You know, I like to think of myself as a Vulcan. I've started watching the Star Trek because my husband's a Trekkie and my kids wanted to watch it. And I said, sure, why not? And I can see the similarities. I think on a logical, I like to not have emotion because emotion leads to problems. It leads to mistrust. It leads to, well, if you let your emotions lead you, you get into a lot of trouble. Let's just put it that way. But at the same time, emotions can be a good thing. You can find joy or happiness in things. You can feel the emotion of love with somebody or with multiple people on different levels. And I don't want to lose that. But socially speaking, I just don't know if I can handle it anymore. I almost wish that, I guess, social distancing just stays there. It's actually comfort. And it feels so wrong to feel that way. Am I alone in that? I mean, because I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I am the only person that feels like this. But I will also say that it's so easy to get lost in that. And today I did. I got lost in that. I got lost in being an island. The lonely island that just sits out in the middle of the sea that does not want to talk to anybody, because when you do, you don't know if you're going to say the wrong thing. You don't know if you're going to turn them the wrong way, because I don't think like other people do. And I know I'm not alone on that. My mom told me my 9-year-old sister is just like that. She doesn't fit in with her class or her peers. She fits in with the older generations, people 40 and up. she thinks on their level, not on a child's level. And I can associate with that. I don't say the things that people expect of me. I don't respond the way people would like me to. And while I yearn for closer family feeling, at the same time, I dread it. I mean, we were getting so close to my husband's family. We were going over for these meals with them, monthly, weekly, however it was. And then suddenly 2020 happened, and now it's like I feel like I'm a stranger to these people. My husband says, "Welcome to the club." And at first I didn't believe him. I mean, what kind of family acts like that? I get it, they're introverts, but shouldn't that draw you closer to people? I mean, shouldn't that give you a sense of wanting to be around them more? Because we're not promised tomorrow. So shouldn't we want to spend more time with them? But instead, it looks like, I guess on our end, we've decided to pull away. Call it self-preservation, if you will. So the whole idea behind this post that my mom shared of mental health was that during the past year and a half, on everybody's different lengths of what they've gone through, if you look around you, so many people have just lost it. So many people are just, it's all about me, no one else matters, and as long as I'm happy and getting through, whatever. And it's hard to see. It's hard to live amongst. It's hard. And so personally, my husband and I decided this year, we're not doing a family Thanksgiving with anybody. If anybody, his mother and sister will be invited, but he has decided nobody else will be. He's decided we're doing us. They don't know yet. They'll probably find out when they see this video, if they even bother to care. But we're just, I guess, done, you know? And then I guess the biggest trigger today was we went to church yesterday. And we've been going to this church for a pretty long while. But we're ghosts. We sit in the back. We sometimes come pretty late, miss the singing, and just come for the message. My husband works overnight, so if he's worked the night before, chances are we're coming right after his shift. And so we come in, we sit in the back, we listen to the message, we leave. That's just how it is. I mean, we're both introverts and we don't know how to socialize with other people. But I decided this year, since we are homeschooling and my oldest, he is such a social butterfly. I mean, that kid cannot stand being kept home with just us for very long. It does something to him. It drives him nuts. And he just goes through this change of, he's just lost. So I thought, he's in what's known as the epic youth. And I thought he needs to be around other kids. So as often as possible. Now I can't drive. So there's restriction number one. And my husband's overnight schedule, well, it's limiting on us. So I thought when we can, when it's possible, we're going to have him join into events. He went to Hawaiian Falls, which is a water park. They took him to Six Flags. And he has so much fun. And I was so happy for him. Now they're getting ready to go skating. And I thought, oh, this is wonderful. It's perfect for him. He needs to go. It's great. And so I reached out to the people in charge and asked them, how do I get them in? Got that set up. And then I was like, hey, do you guys have a way to do a group chat? Is there something that you're posting on? Because I don't know that these events are happening until right before they happen. Because we go in and my son comes out and goes, hey, by the way, you need to text so-and-so. They're having something. Something's going down. Great. A lot of information that's so helpful. But what can I say? He's fixing to turn 13. He doesn't process like we do. He doesn't think these things through. So I get half the information. So he says, they're doing skating. You need to contact these people. Okay. Well, that's not going to help me in the long run. And so I asked about the group messaging, and they said, yeah, we're on GroupMe. You're on, but you're muted. So I was like, okay. Tried looking up the information, figuring out the settings. I did all kinds of things. In the end, I'm not getting any of their messages. I'm not a part of it. And I got so frustrated, Like here I am, I'm trying to help my socially driven son make friends, interact with other people, just help him through it. And I can't even get the app to work, or I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong. And so I guess I'm just not going to know when these things are happening until the last minute. Hopefully that means he'll make it into the group outing, but otherwise it's a catch-22. Don't know. And it brought up a hurt that I didn't know I still had. When I was a teenager, we were excommunicated from our Presbyterian church because they mistook us missing multiple weeks due to illness as we abandoned the church. Because we were following some nutball who thought that the churches are dead and that they're full of Satan. Even though that was not the case, we were sick. When anybody out there have a large family, one person gets sick, it just goes around and around and around until the whole family has it for about 2 weeks straight. Well, they didn't bother to find out. So we got excommunicated, and it was painful to get kicked out of our church family, to be told that we weren't allowed to talk to our friends there. And I got to the point where I said, well, you know what? I don't need the church. So for most of my adult life, I didn't want to have anything to do with a church. I didn't believe in going to a church. I didn't believe that God was even a part of a church anymore, because people there are just socializing and enjoying themselves, and they have no love whatsoever for the other people. And it wasn't until my husband now decided, you know what, we're going to try this. We're going to try to go back, and we're going to try to find a church that matches. And we've been looking. We found one in San Antonio. Now we're up here in Waco. We finally found one. We're like, you know what? This is it. This is going to be our home church. And I can't seem to connect with the people there either. It's not that they're doing it on purpose. It's not that they don't want to have us there as a part of what they're doing. It's that I don't know how to reach out and talk to them, and they don't know that I need that, I guess. I don't know. But it led me to feeling like I'm still a lonely island. Even though I am trying to reach out to other people, I am still alone. I am surrounded by so many people who say, we love you, we care about you, we want to do things to help everybody. But it's like, that's not me. They're talking to everybody but me. And I don't know. Looks like I'm getting comments. Looks like somebody's watching. It does hurt when people judge others. It does hurt. Especially when you say something based on your own perceptions and you don't think it through. The lady who said something to you had to be judging you off what she was perceiving. Yes, I do believe that was it. And I know that she didn't, I would like to think that she did not do it to be ugly or because she felt that in her heart it was downright true. I would like to think that's not the case. But part of me says you're just being hopeful and that you're not being realistic. And I don't know how to approach that. I don't know how to, I guess, combat those feelings. I guess what I really want to say is we're all facing different parts of mental health issues. Whether we want to admit it or not, whether we want to embrace the changes that are happening or whether we want to fight against them, the fact of the matter is we all have something to fight internally. For me personally, it's not having a closeness anymore. It's losing the desire to be around people socially. It's accepting that we don't all fit in. No matter how hard we try, or no matter how much we might want to, we don't fit in. Some of us are always going to fall through the cracks in families, in churches, in friends. Because not all of us know how to reach out. Not all of us know how to speak up. And instead, what we do or what we try to do is we try to find joy in ourselves or in the people we live with directly. For me personally, I'm throwing myself into reading. I've joined the Goodreads yearly challenge. I have decided that I am going to read like crazy. I'm watching Star Trek with my kids. I'm using that as a door opener to kind of, I guess, get us talking to where we can have that open relationship with each other where they can ask me anything. I don't care what happened in the episode. We talk about so much. And we relate it to real life, which is crazy. I know. But we're nerds. I mean, that's just how we are. We fell in love with Mythbusters and we use that as our science for school. So, yeah, we're funny like that. But on top of that, I have also decided that Christmas is coming and can't afford very much for everybody. But I have found that I love to make miniatures. And I am making so many cool things because I have a little sister in Florida who loves Barbies as much as my little girls. And so my two daughters and her are getting a bunch of miniatures. And in order to take my mind off of whatever is going on, in order to get away from the thoughts that get stuck in my head of the things people have said to me, of the accusations on my character that I have received, whether it's calling me intimidating, whether it's telling me that I am brash and outspoken, whether it's telling me, well, your personality is different, it's refreshing, but it's hard to handle. Whatever it is. Instead of letting them boil under the surface, I am throwing myself into new hobbies and pulling away from social interactions just a little bit, just enough to remind myself that I'm not what they're saying, that I'm not going to let myself fall into that belief that I'm less than. Because in my heart, I know it's not true. It can't be true. I was not raised without empathy. I was not raised without compassion for others. And I will never do something to hurt someone just because. That is not who I am. And I am doing what I can to pull away from that. And I don't know about you, maybe I'm alone in that, thinking that maybe socializing with other people is not the way to get out of loneliness or anxiety. Or maybe it's not the way to battle the mental health problem. But for me, I think it's the perfect way to do it. Because I can't handle just having people put me down or make me feel like I don't belong. So whatever you're going through, I suggest you find something, if nothing else, just for a little bit of time, that you do just you, without anybody else's interference. And so at night, kids go to bed, husband goes to work, I'm throwing myself into things like this. It's simple. This is basically paper folded into a box shape with a little miniature Barbie phone inside. But it's this little simple action of just focusing my mind on creating something like this that has completely pulled me out of feeling like I just can't. So wherever you are, and whatever aspect of this whole social distancing, pandemic-induced fear that you're going through, I just want to say, you're not alone. You might be alone internally with your thoughts. You might be alone physically speaking, wherever you are, but you're not the only one out there that feels like that. You're not the only one out there suffering like that. And you're not the only one who is wishing for something different and not knowing how to get it. I'm right there with you. So whatever you do, whatever works best for you, my suggestion, at least every once in a while, is do you. Whether it's creating Barbie miniatures, whether it's putting together circuitry or a puzzle, I would do that. And I would completely block out everybody else. Every once in a while, just shut down everything else. Because ultimately, even being social, it can hurt. So take a minute and do you. That's what I'm doing. I wish you guys all the best. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, let me know what works for you. I'd be curious to know. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Take care out there, all right?